You're ridiculous, Matt. Why in the world would you ever bet on something like that, you crackhead?
Huh? I thought you were supposed to bet on coin flips.
My gosh. I just can't even. It's funny. This is the reaction show, the deep dive reaction show, Open Pros Pick'em to the coin flip, the inaugural coin flip of Bassmaster. And I say inaugural, I mean, I think they actually used to do that when they did that boat to boat, like who was going to run the boat and all that kind of stuff when they did boater draws way back in the day. But this is the picks. They're going down right now. They've got three-quarters of it done. They got one lake left to go. And holy smokes. Right now they have Lake Martin, Arkansas River, Lake Murray, and Pasquotank where you can use forward-facing sonar. They have Lake Gunnersville, Tennessee Tom Bigby, Santee Cooper, and Lake Champlain where you are not allowed to use forward-facing sonar. Talk about I don't even know what to say. This is going to be fantastic. Hey, but we do have a special guest on today. Let's just bring him on in. Oh, God. Dang it, Kyle.
Sorry. Sorry. I you know what? I felt like that was still an appropriate response even on live. I actually,
so Kyle, you got your schedule. What do you? So far, we still have one left.
Okay. So here's one thing that I will say. Having the Champlain Pasquotank, that's a win for me. I don't want it's beneficial. Like they had Gerald on, and he's like, "Well, I don't know. Which one would I rather not have forward facing? Oh, I don't know. My home lake. Who knows? It's like, are you guys serious? Are you guys
right now he can't see his live scope, but
like what?
It's because right now he can't see his live scope with that eye. So
well, I'm just saying, like the whole thing with them bringing all these guys on that are like 100% pro no live scope and be like, well, which one? It's like, okay, Bass, like congratulations, like you got that one right.
Why were you not on that one, Kyle?
No, that's good. Well, I don't know. It's unbelievable. But hey, one thing I'll say is having Champlain no live scope is beneficial to me. That's what people don't understand. Live scope's such an advantage when you're not on your home water. That's a huge deal. Like, I just thought about it, and I'm like, well, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff on Champlain. I don't need live scope on Champlain. But guess what? It'll help me a lot on the Pasquotank. A lot on the Pasquotank. So I hope St. Lawrence is no live scope. I really do. I genuinely do. Anywhere where I can pre-practice more, like with like as you know, cheap, like not spending a lot of money. So I can I'm 3 hours from St. Lawrence. So anywhere where I can go and pre-practice without scope and figure out a good largemouth bite, some sneaky stuff here and there without scope, that's beneficial to me. I swear, I hope so badly to St. Lawrence.
Wait, I'm being dead serious here. Like, do you need to like take a couple deep breaths and relax, Kyle?
I talked to my doctor.
Not joking.
I talked to my doctor today, and he said, I'm like, dude, like, am I allowed to like get fired up in the car? Like, you know, I'm not running or anything. And he's like, yeah, like you don't have to worry. The only thing you have to worry about is like major adrenaline rushes, like landing. That's why I can't fish. He's like, you can get your heart rate up now. That's not going to be a problem.
But does he know what your heart rate does just on like a normal day, like right now?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
Believe it or not, I actually have a very low resting heart rate because like former athletes and like people that run, like, you know, Todd, like, I don't know if you like my resting heart rate's like 55.
Look how much Todd loves chaos. Just look at that smile that he has on his face right there. He hasn't said like just
no,
Todd, look at Todd just loves this. Just eating it up.
The comments, the I wish I was a fly on the wall of some of these. Like, I don't think people realize the amount of group texting that goes on between fishermen. And if any of these like messages, like group messages got leaked out of it's just in the full circle. It's the full circle of all of this is what is just I love so much. It started with a certain guy bashing live scope, and it went all the way around, and now it's coming like now you can't bash, like now all the other guys are bashing if you bash it, and it's just it's just so awesome to me to watch grown men squirm and worry about how to catch a fish. It's just I love every bit of it.
There's a flip side to that, Todd. That is true.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I have. But
hopefully that's a low-grade tranquilizer that you just ate.
But here's what I'll say. In their defense, grown men, regardless of what age you are, I guess you're not, grown men, 18, 21, whatever, plus, those guys were told that live scope was allowed. They qualified using it. Upshaw and I just talked about this. It's a little bit warranted to squirm if you're 23, 24, 25. And that's all you've done is learned a live scope because that was the sport. And that's what Bassmaster.
Hey. Oh, whoa, Kyle, you are talking. You have two people on here that you do not need to talk to this about. This you are going to lose it. Walk away, buddy. Ain't nobody forcing you to be in the elite. Walk away. I know two guys that walked away when they changed the goalpost.
I don't want to walk away. That's not what I'm saying.
Dude,
what I'm saying is warranted.
Walk away. No one's forcing anyone to be there.
No, definitely not. You're right about that. Same thing for when live scope was allowed and everyone was like, live scope's so bad. Walk away. Why don't they walk away?
True. Hey, that's right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, shut up and go fish.
Right.
That's why I love it. Like everyone else around the country has to deal with the same thing. And some people quit fishing. Yeah. A lot of old guys walked away from it. Then there's a bunch of young guys just freaking jumped right in and like, this is the best thing. And I told it 4 to 5 years ago. I talked with a buddy of mine the other day. He's like 23. He's a good friend of mine. And I just met him and we were sitting there talking I try to give somewhat decent advice to some of these guys. And I'm like, hey, look, I've been around a long time. Here's what I know. There's nothing guaranteed in fishing. It's changed ever since I started. It's always evolving. It's always changing. I said, hey, look, man, this live scope thing. I was like, I don't know. This is year 1 or 2 with it, right? So like we all didn't really know. And I said, hey, man, my only thing is this.
You're 6 with it, but that's who's counting.
I said, hey, man, I already know how to fish. I don't know how to live scope that well, but if I ever figure it out, you're in trouble. And here's why. Because what happens one day if they ever get rid of it? And he's like, they'll never get rid of it. I'm like, I know, but say they happen to. You're stuck knowing one way to fish. And if I learn live scope, now I can do it or not do it. It doesn't matter to me. And so I freaking started learning. And all I'm going to say is that's why I laugh about it. Because I'm like, it's why it's, yes, I'm amused by it all. I love it. I love it.
No, look, here's the thing. I said it to you, Todd. Like, it makes the schedule interesting. It really does. And I'll give it credit for that. This is about how the decision was made. Grown men cried and whined, and Bassmaster listened. That's what bugs me. That's the only thing that bugs me, Todd. That's it.
Dude,
like if Bassmaster came to me and said, "Look, oh shoot, that's a cop."
Dude, if he gets pulled over on live.
Andrew, look at your text messages.
Oh God.
Oh my God, I slammed on the brakes, Justin.
Okay.
And I said this to you, Todd, and I'm sure
maybe wait till like 11:30, whatever. If
Bass came to us and brought us all into a meeting and said, hey, look, here's the deal. We're losing viewership. We're losing sponsor dollars. And we think that having live scope is a huge part of that. And here's the data to back it up. We need to ban it. If you walk out of that room complaining, you are not a fisherman. And you do not care about making money in this sport. Right? Is that fair to say? If you walk out of that room complaining and upset, like you really are that selfish and don't care about the industry as a whole.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
the way that this went down, complaining is slightly warranted because they've been complaining for 4 years straight.
Well, I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. I mean, we're still waiting on one last coin flip on St. Lawrence. I mean, I think from a fan base, I think everybody's kind of hoping that it goes no forward-facing sonar, just because I think.
I hope it goes forward-facing.
You do?
I want to watch him catch giant smallmouth and break the records.
Yeah, I mean, but you're not a fan. You're not a fan, right? I mean, if it was my choice, they'd be fishing for largemouth only at St. Lawrence River, but and not even able to go fish for smallmouth.
Hey, Kyle, I will say, like, the only thing I'll say is like we had meetings after meetings after meetings like this at MLF, talking about how we're going to do this and no one's going to pay, and they just invited random people, like no one qualified for this thing. And then all the people that were there, like, but y'all guys stick around because y'all could get here one day. And then 3-4 years later, no one's qualified in, and it went from 100 to 70 and now 50. So like, that's all I'm saying is that like, it's funny how I'll make videos sometimes and I'll call out. I don't really care what's going on. I'm just calling out what's actually happening, and I'm like, yeah, like I understand why you're upset, Kyle. I get it. Totally get it.
Right. It's not the fact, like they could have said anything, but if they had fact and backing behind it, like honestly, I'm upset also because I said to Bass, I said to the groups, I said everything. I would rather have it banned.
Hands on the wheel.
Tell me the whole.
Hands on the wheel.
Hands on the wheel.
Bam road and put your
hands on the wheel.
I just got a new truck and I just got a new truck and like it's self-driving. You know what I mean?
Greatest podcast ever. Kyle Patrick dies on the
Hey, Todd, he probably drives one of those Tesla trucks that drives.
It's one where like you can keep your knee on it, and it watch this.
All that money he makes on the Bassmaster Elite Series, he can buy. He gets to buy a brand new truck. I mean, that's these guys. They're professional anglers. They make millions of dollars. So
it's all that scoping money-ish.
Hey,
it is
right now. This has nothing to do. This money
doesn't care if he totals it. Driving past cops, just throwing that money away.
No, this money that I made has nothing to do with the Elite Series. Zero. In fact, I think 95% of my income has nothing to do with the Elite Series. Literally.
Well, no, but you're a professional. You're a professional bass angler. You make millions of dollars. That's the truth. Todd just wins every tournament, so he makes millions that way. Andrew does TV. He makes millions that way. Panger, you have a podcast. You make millions that way. And then there's just me sitting back, old-ish, just trying to
slinging skeeters.
Hey,
slinging skeeter boats.
Here's the flip.
I'm gonna do a little product promo real quick. Here's
the flip right
popcorn, here. Knack snack, and I have it just for today. Hey, everybody hush! Coin flip imminent. It's about to happen.
All right.
They flipped it. Let's see.
St. Lawrence River.
No scope.
No, I think it is. Yep.
Dang it!
It's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged.
No, it's rigged. Man, I gotta tell you, it's the whole thing's rigged. Bass is against us. I swear to God.
Hey, if anybody,
Bass is screwing us.
Deep dive.
Here, wait a second. I gotta pull it up. Dang it. Oh.
Deep dive.
There we go.
Perfect.
Deep dive.
Yeah, we had to deep dive. Dude, Kyle. Kyle got deep dive.
Y'all remember the rumor that was going around for a long time? I 100% know that you know what I'm talking about. That they were
Timmy Horton.
Yeah.
Timmy Horton. That's all. You don't even have to say. You don't even have to say anything else. All I'm gonna say is Timmy Horton. That's it. I know exactly what you were thinking. Timmy Horton, not the donuts. The angler,
No.
Timmy Horton. Let's get it right. Todd, I see the look. I see the look on Todd's faces. He has no clue. Todd, this will be a conversation off camera. I will tell you all about it.
I don't care.
Oh God!
Hey,
guys!
Can I add something? So Todd and I were talking the other day on the phone, and I brought up something kind of like an interesting point, and he was like, "You know what? I'll give you credit for that. Like that's interesting." You know what I'm going to say, Todd?
No. Well, I'll remember.
He was too busy catching 10-pounders on
we were just.
sonar.
I was talking Kyle off the ledge.
No. And
let me tell y'all something real quick.
It's going to be funny.
Kyle. Hold on, Kyle. Y'all are getting Kyle after a therapy session of calming him down. Okay, this is him off the ledge.
So look, I said to Todd, it's going to be kind of funny when there's a no forward facing sonar event and like all these boys, they're on the bank. And they've always been on the bank. Your Prosnicks, Hackneys, whoever, right?
Polinick, Ike, Cruz.
Whatever.
Yeah. And
then I roll up, like, what up, boys? And they're like, wait.
Yeah. This is good.
And they're like, dude, this I'm fishing here. I'm like, me too. And I'm like, tough luck. Like, this is sort of what you guys wanted, right? And then here comes Easton. Here comes Trey. Here comes all the boys coming on in to the hole. Welcome to the show now. You just took away 50% of the water of a lake and went, Eep. So welcome to the show. See what happens, dude. You know what I mean?
But I am going to tell you, when you see what happens, you put Hackney, you put Christie, you put the boys back in the game.
No.
There
that's not what he's talking about. It's like, so what this does open up, and I agree with Kyle, it's like, this opens up a couple of things, in my opinion. One, the spots are now a big deal. Where before spots weren't as big a deal with live scope. So now I'm this big guy. Like, so we fish team tournaments. That whole crap that goes on the elites, like someone else showing up on a spot, like that doesn't happen where we're from. Like you don't get. I mean, it's not this like, oh, okay, we both gonna be here tomorrow. No, it's a one-day event, dude. You freaking kick rocks.
Yep.
That's gonna happen more now, and then that's going to be a big thing. So, and like Kyle said, he's like, yeah, man, I'm fishing this spot too. He's like, nah, dude, this is what you wanted. If I'd have had it,
I will take it. I will take it. I will take that's what I want, because once again, when I throw my spinnerbait down the bank and he wants to try to throw whatever he's throwing down the bank, I'm going to catch them.
No,
I go flip my jig.
That's true. That's true.
He's
However,
just saying,
you're discrediting the fact that I would say, like, I don't know. I would say like 5 out of 10 of the guys that are in the top 20 in AOI, like consistently, that are in the younger, like I'm going to say 30 and under, are pretty dang good at fishing shallow. Too.
Oh, no. That's what, but no, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that. Easton is going to catch them. Trey is going to catch them fishing down the bank because Trey doesn't know anything else but fishing. So, but you take the guy to the freaking club. He couldn't get a girl to save his life, but he can catch a bass. So I give Trey that. I give Easton that, because Easton grew up catching them. What are we doing here, Andrew?
Oh, I just threw it on there so everybody could see what was and what wasn't.
So it's 5 with 5. Anyway, no ish. But here's the thing: in both Kyle, like, it doesn't matter whether they can catch them down the bank. It matters how you, like. It matters how you. What's the word? I can't think. It matters how you do against your competitors going down the bank.
Oh, but those guys are still those
I'm
two
with you on this. So like, they can catch them going down the bank, but now that bank bite sometimes is going
to change. It's going to change.
No, it's not going to change. I don't even care about that. Ish. Hold on. It's not that. The weights will look different. And so
yes,
now
100%.
So it's like, well, I caught 13 pounds going down the bank. I'm like, yeah, and I caught 16. And at the end of the day, your 10th place finish is now 40th. That's the thing. I've always said that I always hate when guys are like, those guys can't catch them with or without. You're on the elites. You can gosh dang catch a fish.
That's what I said.
The difference is when I say that, I'm comparing you to the other 100 best fishermen in the planet.
Oh yeah, no, I am too.
So when someone's like, "Oh, he can catch fish," I'm like, "Yes," but I'm not comparing some guy in the NBA to your local guy at the YMCA, right? So that's where I'm like, that's where I think legacy and all these things matter, and that like, yeah, I know you catch fish, but there's a big difference between you coming in 10th place in AOY and 50th, and I think you're going to see change-ups in that.
But I will tell you this, is for the last 3 years, there would only have been 30% of those guys that would have actually made it if there was no forward-facing sonar.
Wait, and you're talking in 5 years?
In the last 3 years. In the last 3 years. That made the elite.
Look,
30%.
I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't have made it as quickly. But I'm telling you right now, I would have made it. But it wouldn't have been. No,
100%.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is I'm taking your rookie class and I'm going to put you in there. I'm going to put Trey in there. I'm going to put Easton in there. And that's about it on qualifying. Those other guys without forward-facing sonar probably would have not made it. Probably
yeah,
the rest.
It's hard to say that. It's hard to say.
So that's what I'm saying. So that's where I go with Bass, and I've been challenging the organizations, both Bass and MLF, to eliminate the forward-facing sonar in the qualifying of getting to the elites, and let's see where.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Yes, 100%.
I've never understood why they won't do this, because it's like all this stupid complaining about it. This will shut all of it up. I've said that if it was me, now I'm different, right? I don't know.
You are different, but you're my hero. You're special.
If I was a young guy and confident in my fishing, which I think I've always been that, maybe to a fault, I would want this more than ever.
Yes.
Because if it was me, like I literally went the opposite when I looked at forward-facing sonar, and I had all these young guys kind of like popping off, and I could hear them talk behind my back, and I'm like, all right, watch this. I'm gonna go get good at it, and then I'm gonna actually go do this. If I was a young guy on the elites, I'm like, bring it. Because then when I catch them, now what? I will talk so much trash to every old guy on the elite, and be like,
100%.
Standing behind him in line with my bag, going down the bank and looking at you, going, "Cute little fish you got there."
Right.
You know? And then what are they going to say? Nothing. I think I'm just talking like I was in that line in the Toyotas at Rayburn on the final day with 31 pounds, scoped them all up around nothing. I am the old man looking around a bunch of nothing but 20-year-olds and going, going, that's 19 pounds, dude. Pretty good bag, I guess. You know, like I wasn't saying that, but I was like, hey man, right? Like just prove yourself. You're the top 100 guys in the country. You're getting for a living.
And I've never said though.
This isn't you, Kyle. This isn't you.
No. But what I'm saying to the masses is, I have never been against it from a standpoint of, I don't want to fish anymore. Or like fishing's boring. I said it from the reason the reason this took place was for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
For the wrong reasons.
100%.
Do it for any of this.
There's something we are not touching on, and I think and everybody's going to laugh when you hear this. How many crankbaits and spinnerbaits and buzzbaits and topwaters are going to be sold to Elite Series guys from Tackle Warehouse in the next 6 months? You might want to take an overview on that, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys in the field. They have crankbaits, they have spinnerbaits, whatever, but they haven't had them in their boats in the last 3 years.
Right. So like in those Toyota, like when I fish Toyotas, like some of those guys, like we're all kind of buddies, and we all kind of joke and we all whatever. and I try to joke with everyone. Like, so I remember being on you know how we all pull up on the bank or all sitting next to each other. We might be waiting for a top 25. And I'm like, and Steven Johnson was next to me and we were laughing. I said, hey, man, how many of these guys you think have this bait in their box? You know,
none.
We were laughing. And so, of course, we know people. So I'm hollering at one guy like 10 boats down. And he's like, I haven't owned one of those in 3 years. You know what? And I'm like, and then the young guys play along. They're like, I only got 3 boxes in my boat. And it's a minnow.
Right.
And so we were laughing.
And a shaky worm.
Yeah. And I was like, how many of these boats are going to be going from 76 miles an hour to 72 because they have so much tackle in their boat now?
Dude, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch that. It's hilarious.
Here's the thing. If someone has that, they're going to struggle. I think you still stick to your strengths. Like, I'm going to keep a jig in my hand down the bank, whether it's a swim jig, a flipping jig, whatever it is. I'm going to keep a power shot locked in. I'm going to throw a Senko, and I might throw a shaky head. Like, you know what I mean? That's
yeah. But you take those 3 boxes, and that's all you got in your boat to the Arkansas River. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate your money, and we will see you at the next event.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll throw in a chatterbait, and I'll throw in I guess a square bill.
I do want to ask Matt one thing real quick.
Matt's on here? I didn't even
he hasn't said much.
And to answer that question, no.
Matt's still here?
It would not be the same.
No, it
Matt's
would not
still
be,
here?
Kyle, you're right. It would not be.
It would not be the same.
Matt, as Bassmaster has shown over the last couple of years, you're the only one that actually, you and Ish are the only two that are actually fishing the opens anymore.
I might next year.
Or Todd might next year.
Is there a schedule?
No, that's what I'm waiting on.
I'll tell you where one event's going. I'll tell you where one event's going.
Where?
You follow Alabama. Fact. Absolute fact. They posted it on their Facebook page. The town did.
Are we at least going at a decent time this time, please? Can we go a little early? Can we go a little earlier? Not in the freaking heat of the freaking summer, post-spawn, the worst possible conditions, when, once again, all the fish are swimming around in the middle of the freaking lake. Instead, let's put them on some structure on the bank and let's see how these guys do. Or,
I'll tell you what, Ish, the first tournament of the year that I called, did you fish follow that year when everyone smashed them off the bank?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the bank and I caught like 16 pounds and I was like, oh my God, dude, I am the man. I came in to weigh in and I was
You're like, oh, thanks for being in 20th. Good job.
No, I was in like 60th.
Yeah, I was in
60th with like 16 pounds.
Yeah.
60th.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And then day 2, I caught 14 pounds and I finished like 103rd.
Yeah, I don't even look at that one anymore because I caught like 12 pounds a day, and
Dude, so it doesn't matter when you go. If they allow scope, they're gonna smash them off the bank.
Yeah, but if we go in that pre-spawn spawn time, it's a lot different.
You're right.
Oh yeah, Matt, what do you think Bassmaster is going to do on the opens? Are they going to mimic what the elites did, or do they just ban it completely? What is the rumor?
I think if they keep
I don't think they're going to touch it. I don't think they're going to touch it.
If they keep 2 divisions within the 4, I could see them doing a 2-2. They have a little bit of an issue with the 200 plus boats. I mean, the top it's easier to put the locking device on or have the guys take it off. They're the top 100 when you start dealing with the more guys. But I mean, if they want to make it truly the same level playing field, like they've tried to do with the information and things like that, they have to do 2 and 2. Like they have no other option. Like that's MLF's biggest complaint. Like when you get to the BPT, you've got guys who have never fished that BPT format because they're qualifying through the invitationals, whether it's with scope, 1 day with, 1 day without, 1 day on the final day. So if you want to keep it truly honest and you're going to do the 2 divisions with the 4 and then the EQs, I think the two most likely options are to qualify. You either do 2 with and 2 without in each of the divisions, or when you get to the final EQs, you flip a coin, one with, one out, and then you flip a coin for the final of the 3 EQs. That's the fairest way that they could do it going into next year, and then just deal with it when you get there as far as how you get those 200 plus people to put the lockbox on, to take the forward facing off. I mean, that honestly is the only actual fair way to do it.
Man, I thought it's going to be a no-brainer, and I will give Bass credit that I don't know who this. I don't know when this was made, but I think they were actually, this is one of the better decisions they did. They looked at that as a whole and tried to protect guys qualifying into the elites, and realizing that even though it sucks for the guys, like they all said it's a working man's tour, and they were trying to do the 3 when you were allowed to like qualify in with 3. Guys that were qualifying in with 3 events, and you have like 2 river events, and I say that because I remember the Centrals. You'd have like these 2 river events, and you see these guys running around in like John boats fishing back-to-back waters, and then qualifying in, and then they get to the elites and they can't.
It was like Arkansas River, Red River,
right.
And
right. And then they got them. And then they got them on the elites, and then they don't do good, and then they like. I'm not saying they did this on purpose, but like guys are like going broke, like kind of like messing up. A lot of these guys, I'm thinking about in my head. You don't hear about them ever again, right? Like they don't even.
Here's something. Anymore. Hey, here's
and
something
so
I thought about.
They did try to mimic it to where it's like, hey, like it seems like right now the way they have it, like even Kyle's, all their groups, all these groups of the 9 and 10 that they're letting in, it seems like all of them are way more qualified to be there as a whole and compete when they first get there. Now maybe that's just
you know what I think happened. You know what I think happened. Forget forward facing. That has nothing to do with the 9.
I know. I'm joking.
You know what I honestly think happened? I think Bassmaster was worried about a turnover rate. That's why I think they switched from what seemed to be working perfectly. I think they said, oh, shoot, we're getting 9 guys or 10 guys every year that have to qualify through 9 tournaments. That means they're like consistently catching them everywhere they go. I think there was probably some discussion of like, how many years do we go before we're losing guys that are bringing us value versus just the average, the guy that doesn't talk on camera and just comes in and wins and beats everyone else in AOI. I wonder if Bass was like, you know what? I think that, we need to make it so that not everyone who qualifies is 100% like gonna top 20 AOI every year. Is that crazy of me?
I'm sure they were scared of it, but it was still like, I've always said this sport, it was always been like, I always still to this day for a while, there was a year in there where everyone was talking about being a professional fisherman, and there was like 3 tours going on at the same time, and there was like 25 to 30 guys that actually qualified for one of them. Like no one in MLF at the time qualified to be at BPT, right? It was all invitation, and all those guys left Bass, and then half of Bass's guys were all invited to Bass tonight because they didn't have enough guys. And I was like, we're a professional sport where you get an invite to play, and so I always liked the qualification process. And if that means 10 older guys can't freaking cut it, then they all need to go.
Right, 100%.
I agree. 100%.
Because look, man, I say that, like me and Ish and all of us, we all fish team events. No one's catering to us or individual. Nope. Like no one's going, oh well.
Right, but the highest league in the sport is like, oh yeah, you want a classic? Come on in, and guess what? You get your old AOI average.
No, I don't. Yeah, I like qualification. Like it should be.
Yeah,
it should be.
Because now I qualified 2 years ago. Every single year, I don't care that my average. I have a 19 average right now in AOI, which is like pretty good. Like not like some of the guys, but like it's pretty dang good, dude. I still have to fight every year to make it back on the elites. Where someone left Bassmaster, comes back in and gets their 20-year-old AOI average. That's just rude, in my opinion.
That is 100% rude.
That is just outlandish. Can you imagine like Jack Nicklaus just walks back into the PGA, doesn't make a single cut, and then they cut like someone that grinded to get there, and he's making like some cuts here and there, and he's beaten Jack Nicklaus, but Jack Nicklaus is 88. He can't hit the ball as far.
Listen, my only argument to that, and this isn't a good argument, I'm saying if this was the case, if a guy like, I don't want to pick, I'm going to pick him out of a compliment. Like I'll pick Kevin Van Dam. If Kevin Van Dam walked back into the elites and all of a sudden the elites, like the money, like I think about Tiger Woods, like Tiger Woods going back would like electrify, like the money would pour into golf, right? I mean, it's already got money, but I'm saying if something like that happened where some of these guys that came back in exploded the fishing industry of where like y'all are fishing for way more money and all these things, I'd be for that, but that's not happening.
No,
and so if that's not happening, then what is it really? That would be my only argument to where it'd be better, but that's not the case.
Okay, here's where I'll jump in on this. So you want to talk about increased interest, viewership, bringing back guys in or something. This is where I talked about this a little bit last week. This is where I don't connect the dots, and then I really don't connect them even further. So in December 16th, 2024, they come out with a press release about how amazing the 2024 season was, which was no restrictions whatsoever, number of inches of screen. Guys had 6 transducers on, 8 billion inches of screen and whatever. And their quote talks about how they are expanding their coverage in 2025 with Fox because of how elated they are with the growth in coverage of the Elite Series. The quote is, the new expanded schedule is a result of a 2024 season of record viewingship and increased interest in Bassmaster live programming, and includes a massive 300% increase in hours of coverage on flagship Fox broadcast channels, setting the stage for a monumental surge in viewership of 2025. Now, I would have been interested to see in 2025 what they came out with. Ironically, yesterday, Bass comes out with a press release that says this season delivered 12 hours of live bass fishing on Fox broadcast, reaching more than 200 million households, along with almost 60 hours of additional coverage. This unrivaled coverage comes on the heels of record-breaking viewership in 2025, which saw a 20% increase in live viewers after 2024. So you have unlimited and you have live scope, and their live numbers keep going through the roof. Yet they're part of their reasoning for this that they said was they were listening to the fans, they were listening to the interest, and they were listening to the live coverage. Here's 2 undisputable press releases from the organization that shows the 2 biggest years that they have ever had of Bassmaster live coverage and TV coverage was with the most and consistent live technology that they've ever had.
Matt,
hey, whoa. Hey, is anybody want to buy a Skeeter or a Yamaha? Come see me.
That's funny.
Come see me.
Hey, Matt, I did a video yesterday.
Hey, wait. I forgot.
Matt, I did
got this for Ish.
Yeah.
Deep dive.
Matt, I did a video yesterday about that same thing that I'm like, wait a minute, something's not adding up. We listened to the fans and did all these things, and I'm like, why? Wait a minute. For 2 years, I've been told nothing but like the fans love this, and we have better coverage, and to lead like all these things. But I mean, I'm used to this. I'm used to just. It's why I rarely believe anybody.
This is why I'm getting so irate. Okay?
No. I'm with you on the.
This is why I'm getting so irate. What?
This is why
you get it, right? Like I'm not irate because of me personally. I'm irate because they made a decision based on 100 anglers that know nothing about Bassmaster's business. They might know the fishing industry. Bassmaster has the numbers. Bassmaster knows what they do, what they provide. They need to work on their coverage for sure. It's almost borderline embarrassing compared to what it was. But
hands on the steering wheel.
Your vein is popping out of your neck.
Yeah. Hands on the steering wheel. Kyle, hands on the steering wheel.
Bad boys.
Hands on the steering wheel.
They come out of
Woosah. Kyle, it's okay. It's okay.
No, but listen.
You'll learn.
They come out with those numbers.
Oh, we're losing him. He's got to get deep dive right now because we're losing him. It's perfect time for us to lose him.
So, you want to know what else grinds my gears that hasn't been talked about?
We can't even hear him anymore. He's just going.
Yeah, you can.
No, we seriously could not hear you. Seriously. No joke at all.
We couldn't hear you, Kyle.
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
I have not such bad service. Damn it.
You know,
but it was a good time for you to have bad service.
Like Kyle's right. When and what's funny is and I'm not picking on Kyle here because he's not here. I'll tell me and Kyle are cool. When you see young guys, and this is all of us too, right? And I'm gonna still put him as young. When you see young guys start to see this sport and how this thing is, and we all love it, like we're all still involved with it all. Oh, I'm not allowed to say the sport because I heard some people said this is not a sport. I don't care. I don't care what you call it. When you start to see young guys start recognizing what's going on within the industry at times, and I know Ish is the same way, Andrew, Matt, we sit back and kind of smile like, oh, he's kind of getting it now. He's kind of seeing things because I hate bringing it up, but Andrew, when me and you, the MLF thing and the amount of anglers that lit me and Andrew up, they're for us and they're about to do this. And, oh, you guys don't know. And we rolled out. And then 2 to 3 years later, it's they're doing this to us and they're complaining. And me and Andrew are just sitting back there and I know sometimes they try to fix it, but you get some guys in there. What sucks is I'm cool with you making a decision and you tell me why it is you're making it.
Yes.
And I can agree or disagree.
Yeah.
I did a podcast with the Bass Champs guys and hey, Todd, we kind of had to do this. We know it's not going to be in your favor. And I'm I can understand.
Okay.
Did that. Right.
Okay.
It's 100% true. And I'm yeah, I don't like it because it's going to hurt me. But I understand in the long run, it's good for the business, whatever. I'm fine with that. It's just the line. It's the trying to pull the wool over someone. That's the part I've always had a problem with.
Well, that's what I'm so bummed about, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say, I want to make one point on Matt's comment about press releases and numbers and all that stuff. I hate to bounce back to that. But truth be told,
I'm sorry for laughing. I'm laughing at my guys. My guys.
Yamaha.
I'm working. Yeah, that's what we're working on. We're working on 2 boats right now. So I mean,
he just sold one out the door. Come down, come down. Gotta get them dealership and buy you a brand new Skeeter.
You gotta get them cleaned up and moved out the door.
But what I want to say to Matt's point there, I understand their press releases. There's been years that they put press releases out. They put press releases out when all the anglers left bass and went to Major League Fishing and promoted how amazing it was and how they were killing it and all of this stuff. They were. The numbers were through the roof. And I honestly have never seen Bassmaster or any tournament organization make a press release that says, dude, we're sucking. We need more numbers.
Right.
Let's be honest. Nope. How are they ever going to obtain sponsors by saying, hey, our numbers suck? And that's the reality of it. Unfortunately,
and I'm fine with that. You don't have to say that. But you don't have to tell your angler, go up to your anglers and be guys, look, this is not, maybe I'm wrong. This is totally hypothetical. You got 100 guys in that room with bass, and whoever gets up there and starts talking to you, got the anglers. And if one guy actually went up there and said, hey guys, look, there's a lot of complaints online. Guys are turning away. We lost 45,000 in BASS memberships last year. I'm not idea. But if they all went up to you and be it might be live scope, it might be not, it might be that y'all suck on camera. We don't know, but we've got to change some things and we're gonna do it because of this. And we don't know where it's gonna go, but that might be it. Would and be like, and if we don't, guys, then we're gonna cut a lot of y'all, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do some things, and a lot of y'all are gonna. Maybe some of those guys would change their mind, going, because I'm that way when it comes to like team stuff and things, because I'm like, hey, look, none of y'all can make money right now unless y'all are with Bass. And it sucks that y'all are reliant on Bass being successful. And I think sometimes if we just heard one of those conversations ever, you'd be like, do what you got to do. This doesn't mean this 50-50. I don't think this 50-50 will be forever. It might be for 2 or 3 years. It might be for 2.
So this is
I don't
interesting.
think I'm with you.
Todd. Listen.
But
There was
just do
something
it.
that was said during the coin flip where they said, basically, Zona, one of them said, are we doing this is this how we'll decide it next year and the year after that? Like, there was a little bit of talk in there about how, like, they're planning on doing this for the future years. I thought it was interesting that they've had a vote when they came out with this with the angler committee. They said it was fluid on a year-to-year basis. When I've had the Bassmaster people on BTL, but there was some talk on that show, if you caught it, it was about 20 seconds worth, where they were saying, hey, are we going to do the coin flip like this every single year now moving forward? It wasn't, hey, are we going to vote on forward-facing sonar and what it's going to be next year? They basically said it's going to be 50-50 next year. Is this how we're going to decide it again?
It doesn't have to be this way all the time. That's why I look at all this stuff and be like, just chill out and go fish next year, and the best fishermen are gonna freaking show up. And then if they change it next year, like, y'all are already there. Like, there's a lot of people probably watching it, just like, guys, why don't y'all shut up and just go catch some fish? Like, every once in a while, that needs to be said.
Yeah. Yes, it does. But guys, hey, I got people waiting on me. I got to go make some real money.
Got to sell some boats.
Because once again, professional anglers, we make millions of dollars. So this is how I make my side cash.
Right.
We'll see you, Ish. Thank you.
All right, see you guys later.
So what I want to say to that point, where were we even at for a second? I'm lost.
I was just saying they mentioned during it.
It's going to be like this, bro.
There was another line mentioned in it where because I was watching before Todd called me, like, laughing his butt off about this whole situation, where they were talking to one of the anglers, and they were talking about, well, we had to start somewhere. We had to get something on paper, and we're testing it to see how it works. To me, that tells me that it's liable to be no scope at all next year, as much as it is to make it 2/3 or 1/3 or whatever. I think there's always chance for change. And I will say, to the meeting point, we all can speculate what's happened in the meeting. And I know Kyle can't talk about what's happened in the meetings because he's been a part of some of them or all of them. But what I will say is, in years past, I know that they've come to the anglers and been like, look, this is a situation. I mean, there wouldn't be a vote right now on forward-facing sonar if there wasn't a bunch of people complaining. That's just where they're at. And I don't think
but the people that are complaining, they changed. It's very clear. It's very clear why they're complaining. It's not it's not about business. It's not about the overall wealth of the industry. It's about them personally as a business saying, I'm getting 80 to 90th in AOY every year. I need to get my AOY average up. How do I do that? I take away a really, really good technique for fishing. And that's just a fact. If you say that's not the reason, then you're out of touch. You're out of touch.
Kyle's a million% right. And I said this, bass fishermen are about one thing and one thing only: self-preservation.
Yep.
And like that team events I was talking about the other day, they changed those rules not because of all this stuff. They changed them because the amount of people that complained and said we might not fish next year. And so now I will say that it's nice to have, if you can get, which is impossible. There's I don't think you can have 10 guys, but you can't have guys on that board. Because even when we've seen that, like, and I've been a part of those conversations, dude, like 90% of the guys on the board are only about themselves as well. Rarely is it about like making Bassmaster better so all y'all can thrive. And that means you actually have to trust Bassmaster that they're going to do right by y'all.
Bassmaster tried to do that, Todd. Finish your thought and I'll prove what you're saying. Finish your thought and I'll prove what you're saying.
Me?
Yes.
I'm done. Go.
Okay, so this is proof that Bassmaster was trying to do this. My personal opinion is that is trying to make it, is trying to do it for the health of their anglers. This is just my personal proof. They have to have the schedule out. They schedule it in advance. They were my personal opinion. If you look at the 2026 schedule, they were planning ahead. They were trying to make changes like they did in the 2025 schedule to make it where there were opportunities per Pat Schlopper to win 2, for John Cox to finish in the top 15 of the Angler of the Year. They did that. That's why only 50% of the Elite Series tournaments were won primarily using forward-facing sonar. A lot more were put into it by people that, if you don't know what you're watching, you don't understand the hybrid scoping and the little elements that went into it. But if you look at the 2026 schedule, which came out before all of this happened, you look at what we just went over: Guntersville, Martin, Tom Bigby, Arkansas River, Murray, Santee, Pasquotank, Champlain, St. Lawrence. That is a schedule designed for the health of the guys who have been in the last 3 or 4 years that primarily rely on that as part of their game, while also creating half of the schedule: the Albemarle Sound, Santee Cooper, the Arkansas River, the Tom Bigby Waterway, for those guys to also have their opportunity to win. This, limiting it, having it, getting rid of it, this all started a quarter of the year into the 2025 season. Bassmaster was planning on my opinion, one forward-facing transducer, the limited number, the 55 inches of screen, and they solved the problem, the quote-unquote problem, with the schedule. This year proved that. This next year was going to be extremely similar, and then it was the angler board, the voting, the constant in the ears by the people that changed it, which now throws a wrench on it, which is why you have live scope on the Arkansas River.
Right.
This was not a 2-3 year plan. They thought they had this thing figured out, and it was the anglers that went to Bass, and they said, okay, well, maybe we can do like I said, my opinion, but just looking at the schedule, looking at how it lays out, that's how I believe it went down.
The only thing I'll say is that but Kyle will agree with me on this. The guys making the decision don't know live scope. And what they failed to realize is how good life scope is. And they didn't think some of these guys are freaking phenomenal. I didn't think it would play in some of these events, and then it kept on playing. And then it's like, no matter, it was always going to play. Like, no matter what lake you put it on, it was going to play and have an impact. And I think they tried to do the best they could, and there's no stopping it. It's a testament to how good it is and how good the anglers are with it. And I think this was no matter what they did, no matter how many schedules they did it that way, it's not about the winner, winning with it or without it. It's like the overall thing. And it's just like, all right, well, this was the only way, in my opinion, to shut everyone up about it.
But see, the problem is everybody's so used to complaining.
Could not disagree more.
They're going to still find another reason to complain.
What? Couldn't disagree more.
The only way to shut anyone up over it is to say no live scope from here on out for the foreseeable future, or live scope here on out for the foreseeable future. Splitting it up does not shut anybody up over it.
They're still going to complain about it. That's what I'm saying. They're still
right.
Complain,
so what is that solving? So then that argument is irrelevant because
it solves the only question I care about. Kyle, yeah, look at Kyle. Kyle's already mad because it solves the only question I care about. Kyle's like, I've heard it enough from you. Guys, I know you can't help it. At least I'm honest with you, Kyle. Me and you are always honest with each other, and you know it. You're like, I don't care about any of this. He just wants to see. Ooh, look at there. I'm just over here playing games, Kyle.
I'm telling you, dude.
It's great.
Here's what I'll say. here's what my disappointment. It's embarrassing. Todd, what I've talked to you about some of the older anglers, it's embarrassing their attitude towards the sport of bass fishing and the way they get their way these days. You're 50 years old, 40 years old, 55 years old, and you're mad at I mean, it is the way that some of these anglers have acted over the last 3 years is truly embarrassing. And frankly, if I was a sponsor, I would be gone.
Hey,
can you agree with that?
Hey, everybody chill for just a second. We have another special guest coming on. I just love this. I really wish we could just get more and more insight from other people, but this is going to be a good one. Somebody that I know is a hardcore fisherman, absolutely catches them without. I think will give us an even better dialogue than Kyle Patrick can. Let's go, John Garrett.
He's just as mad. He's just as mad.
Hey,
he's just gonna maintain it.
I gotta throw this out there. Me and John were texting. So like I don't see. I gotta leave for a second, John. So like I had John scheduled from today for 12 o'clock because I had all these great fishing questions, and then they freaking do this coin flip, and now it screwed everything up. And then I was like, John, you got to come on. And then in my text messages, this is why I'm an old man and don't know how to text. I thought he was like, I don't want to do this. Let's just do me and you. And now John's on, so now I'm all confused. And are you doing this, John, instead? I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that I was a little too hot to talk about the topic. So you were correct with your first thought, but I'll talk about it. I'm just not going to get hot about it.
Okay, so hey, I'm going to leave for a second.
Got hot down there, Hot Mess Express down there in the corner. So don't.
I'm not a hot mess, dude. I just can't lie. I can't hold in my emotions. Never have been able to, and I think that's why people appreciate me. Honestly,
Andrew, I'm gonna go. I gotta leave and end my live with John because it starts at 12, and then get me back in.
Okay. I removed somebody else. All right, my bad, Matt.
That's okay. Todd doesn't value what I say anyway. Might as well just cut me out from the show.
So, John, tell us, and I understand that you don't want to get too hot about it, and I don't want you to get hot with it because your future is on the line just as much as anybody else's. And more so because you're fishing the actual tournaments just like Kyle is. But what I want to ask you is initial reactions, just reactions, of the places where you can use it and where you can't use it. Here's the list here for anybody that's just joining us. Coin flips. I mean, definitely interesting. I'm glad they didn't do it behind closed doors, mainly for the fact that, like, had they done that, then I think it would have been really one-sided. But what do you think? Let's go down the forward-facing sonar list, then we'll go no forward-facing sonar.
I think, first of all, I feel like this is all like a weird dream. Watching our future getting decided by a coin toss by Mark Zona in the middle of small poker table in the middle of Bass Studio. It's crazy. But, I mean, yeah, I would like to have a few other picks on this, but could be worse. It could be a lot better on which ones we had and which ones we didn't have with it. Or you want me to talk about each tournament, or what do you want?
You can just say, like, what's your favorite one on the forward-facing sonar side, and which one are you most disappointed about? I guess would be the best.
I think Lake Martin.
Because John, we haven't talked about any of this.
No, we haven't talked about anything. I think Lake Martin. The Lake Martin's one I'm most disappointed in that we do have it. I think it could play a little bit Arkansas River. I don't think we've had any kind of top level event in recent years. Arkansas River, Lake Murray. I'm glad we do have it at Murray. Pasquotank could have went with it or without it. I think with it, I think we'll see it one Pasquotank again with it, and clearly I'm glad we have it at St. Lawrence River. Just for me loving to catch bass, I want to drive 16 hours and catch as many as I can. But yeah, I mean, Lake Martin was the one I'm most bummed out about the ones we can use it with.
Gotcha. What about no? I mean, is there anyone on the no forward-facing side that you would flip over?
Yeah, I'm highly disappointed we can't use it on Gunnersville just for, I mean, I think we'd have seen I think we've seen multiple century belts, a lot of giant bags. We still see some, but clearly not as many. And Tom Bigby, whatever, Santu Cooper, whatever, I would have liked to seen it at Champlain too, but yeah, I mean, not just from a competitive standpoint. I mean, me and Kyle may have a better chance to win Gunnersville since, Tucker and Paul and all the people that live there don't have forward facing. But just
That's
for
nice.
me,
That's a good thing.
me being a person that loves to catch bass, I mean, I would much rather have it on Gunnersville because I want to catch a lot of fish. So, yeah, that's my input on it.
Like y'all know these lakes better than I've been to. I'm not going to talk about any of them, so just remember that too, Andrew. Like this.
Yeah, no, we won't talk about them. We're not going to put them in the bottom.
I've been to Gunnersville. I've been to the bottom two, Gunnersville, Arkansas River. I haven't been to the other ones. Like to me, and this is as an overall because like I live on Rayburn. Forward facing sonar on Rayburn, I don't think you really have a chance to win if you come down here against the locals. I think the more the grass plays, the more you have a chance to win. I think the same thing with like the St. Lawrence River. The Johnson brothers are so dominant on that thing. I think it gives the other guys that can use it. You still might not have a chance to win, but it feels like you can, because without it, it feels like you're fishing against guys with like 500 waypoints and you have 0. And so it seems like grass lakes, you would not want it, because then it puts everyone in the grass and you all have a chance. And then like places like the St. Lawrence,
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
I think you are.
Go ahead, Kyle. This is the longest I've seen Kyle been quiet. I know he's chomping to say something.
Dude, he had a vein almost pop out. Like I was
Yeah.
really concerned about him for a minute.
Yeah. Go ahead. Say your piece, Kyle.
No, but that's only because I get really fired up about like why the decision was made, not about forward facing. Like
This is the best case scenario.
I'm kind of happy we don't have it at Champlain. Truly. But to your point, Todd, I think you're right. I think that on a grass fishery like Gunnersville, if the grass plays a lot, I don't mind that we don't have it, because, like John said, I mean, like there's a lot of fish roaming, and the guys that are good there, we're gonna destroy us.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroy us. So now that we all have to sort of be in the grass or maybe like ledge fishing, it kind of, I feel like, evens that playing field. So
Yeah.
then on the flip side, if St. Lawrence was no live scope, the Johnson brothers would win. Guaranteed. I'd put my whole life savings on it.
They've literally won everything with live scope this year.
No, right.
Yeah,
but without live scope, it wouldn't even be close.
No, he's 100% right. Like that. Like I made a video and I haven't released it yet. I'm gonna get killed in the comments because people won't actually listen. And I was kind of talking about like because we've all had this discussion. What's easier to win, an open or an elite event, right? And when I say that, everyone's like, "Oh, the elite event because they're better fishermen." I'm like, that's not. I didn't say who's better. I said what's harder. And an open can be hard at times. And I'm saying sometimes like a team event, a one-day team event down here on Rayburn is the hardest thing in the world to win. And if you don't believe me, the weights on them are like, you better sometimes catch 35 to 37 when that would never be what you need in an individual event over 3 days. I think the better fisherman over 3 days wins. Like this is so hard for some people to like compute this. Y'all understand this, but that's kind of what's going on with some of the like the grass thing or any of that. Like with the weights being dropped down without forward facing sonar in some of these events, your 18 pounds in the grass is now like better. And if you can sustain something like that, you have a better chance of some guy. out there just catching 28 a day, and you're like, well, I'm not even on those types. Where when you stack those weights together, you got a better chance to win sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, as far as me and Kyle and a lot of the other guys, I mean, we have a better chance to win a tournament that we can't use it. No doubt. Not saying that's the way the tournament should be, but we do have a better chance to win for sure.
100%.
As everybody, I feel like.
Can I jump in here for a second? Because, John, you mentioned something about, and I see a deal here where Raul said, what side of the coin is heavier? You talked about it. I was very interested in how this coin flip would go down, and in keeping with the spirit of the Open Pros Pick'em, where you try to look at some interesting sides of it. I did a lot of research about coin tosses in the past, and this coin toss seemed to have a lot of gravity to it. So that led me to research, what are some other notable coin tosses in history that have resulted in changing history? Obviously, the top ones that I was able to come across was
Friday Night Lights.
Portland, Oregon was named on a coin toss. There were two individuals that thought they both discovered that parcel of land. The individual who won it was able to name it coin toss. Obviously, the very famous first flight of Orville and Wilbur Wright, that was decided on a coin toss to see which of the brothers would be the first to get into the airplane. The brother who got in, the engine stalled out on the first time. So because of a coin toss, that's why one of them standing next to the airplane. And then probably the most lucrative, and obviously this will change some money hands. And I talked a little bit about this in the pre-flip show that I did before we came on here, was Secretariat, the Triple Crown winning horse. Two prominent horse owners flipped over two foals. One of them got one that didn't pan out. The other one got Secretariat. So that led me to, now that I know it was notable, like you had to determine how do you have a fair coin toss, right? So what is the actual best technique? So when this thing went live, I was watching it with a fine tooth comb. I actually went through. I did Zona's toss. You see here, I did some slow motion of the actual coin that they used. I got some pictures of both sides of it to see what the ridges look like, to see how it was. I really liked the table that they had that was consistent, because according to the basics of the coin toss, Zona's grip was good. It was in the forefront and the thumb. The motion that he used, in order for it to be a fair toss, you actually have to have the coin rotate 2 times in the air. 4 out of the 5 tosses I thought were exceptionally fair. The last one was basically 2.5 rotations, so it was kind of borderline. The only thing that was interesting to me was you want to use a standard coin, and I'm not sure whether the Bassmaster coin was actually standard, because you might have had a little bit more weight on one side. Now, this is the interesting thing. If you go to a New Scientist review study that was done in 2023, researchers flipped a coin 350,757 times to determine if a coin flip was truly 50-50. And what they found was that there is a slighter percentage chance over those 300,000, roughly 51% chance that if you flip the coin heads up, it's going to land heads up. Now that's going to be reduced by about 0.5% if you have it land on a table, as far as whether you catch it, because if you catch it in the air, the part of the coin that is up actually is in the air more. So it was slightly mitigated. But I also noticed that out of the flips, 4 of the 5 flips, he started with that coin head up. So there was a chance it kind of panned out in the first 2 flips that there was a slight percentage chance that it might have been. But overall, I thought they did an exceptional job of making it fair. The coin had some questions. I also would have liked to seen some ridges on that coins, because back in the original days when it was made out of precious metals, guys would actually shave the edges off of the coin, which would actually impact the rotation of the coin. But it didn't look like that Bassmaster coin had been shaved at all. So those were all of the elements that I looked at. So when it came to the flip, to the fairness, to how Zona did it, I thought that was as fair as it could have been.
To be honest, Matt, I wish that they went on live and just hit a random number generator like this. It doesn't matter. It's the principle.
Can I say something? Kyle, John, do you understand that we have to deal with that on a every time we do fantasy?
I actually
We have to
like,
listen.
I'm not
that
gonna, I like
absurdity.
Matt. I like Matt's thinking. I really do. And it sounds like never mind.
And Friday Night Lights should have been in your top 5. The coin flip. There were 3 coin flips. Matt, 3 coin flips all at once.
The Patriots come back against, was it Patrick Mahomes? But it was Patriots, 49ers. Then they won the coin flip to go win the Super Bowl. Remember?
Oh, thankfully, we can't hear anything you say, but it's really confusing.
What's funny is we
have
actually
no service.
Oh yeah, how do I win the Powerball? That's a good question. And then guess what? I would buy Bassmaster and be like, "Joke's on everyone! Next year, bang, bang, bang! We going live!"
Hey, just so y'all know too, Matt lost a bunch of money on the coin flips.
Really, Matt? How much?
I ended up breaking even. I came back in the second half.
Nice.
You really bet on the coin flips?
Of course he did. You got to know Matt. Like, he's a weirdo.
No. Dude, yeah, you did.
No.
Yes,
Matt's, hey, I'm going to tell you one thing. Matt is dialed in on slot machines. Dialed. Dialed. Okay? Like,
it's time for Kyle to start cutting out again.
And I'm like, I'm walking with him. I'm like, oh my God, this guy is going to win $1 million. And he literally goes in there with 100 bones, walks out with like 300 in like 10 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I'm leaving now. I'm like, what? That's incredible.
I will say, like, when I watched the coin flip, I didn't watch all it because me and Andrew were talking, and Matt wouldn't answer my phone call when I called him.
Because I was analyzing.
I know you were. There was a part in there where I saw, like, Zona. Something happened, and, like, one of the anglers was talking about, like, the forward face, like, whatever, and you see Zona just, like, he couldn't contain himself. He smiled a little bit. And then, like, you see, like, Davey Height, like, over here, like, with his eyes real big, just like.
Wait, say that again?
It was like Zona, like, snick, like, was, like, smile, like, he couldn't contain it. Like, because Zona knows, right? Like, he knows what we all know. We know that, like, looking at this, like, me and Andrew are laughing because Andrew knows some of those legs better than I do. He's like, oh my gosh, Todd, if this lands this way, and and when it did, like, I don't even know, and I'm laughing at Andrew going, if they don't get forward-facing sonar in this leg, they are going to struggle. And I'm like, really? He goes, oh yeah. And then we're watching it, and it happened. And so, of course, like I said, I'm over here dying laughing, you know, and then, like, I saw Zona laugh one time, and then, like, Davey Heights over there, like, wide-eyed, not, like, making – it was just funny to watch people's expressions on that stuff because – and Kyle's right. You know, I only watched a couple of them, but they had a certain group of anglers on there that was 100% biased.
It's a very safe group of anglers. It was a very safe group of anglers.
That's like if they didn't – that's like if they announced – like, it's almost as bad. Actually, it's the same thing. Imagine if Bass was like, just kidding, we're keeping live scope and you can go unlimited. And they have Ben Milliken, Trey McKinney, Easton Fothergill, and JT Tompkins for the 4 segments. And everyone's like, and they're like, well, I love it. Yeah, I think it's a really smart move on Bassmaster. Great for the industry. It's like, are you guys serious? Like, honestly, like, really?
This is how we get more kids involved, and this is how we grow the sport.
Right.
So
you have to give Bassmaster credit on. You have to give Bassmaster credit on this, though. It was highly entertaining. Yeah. It generated more discussion than I've ever seen. You had Zona back in the studio. They did a hell of a job on it. I was glued to my computer screen to watch it. Like, I thought it was. I thought they could have totally botched this, and I thought they did a fantastic job from an entertaining, from an engaging standpoint. We're an hour and 14 minutes into this. I've done 7 podcasts on BTL over the past 24 hours about it. All the people are talking about it. Like, from that standpoint, it has generated a lot of interest.
You do realize 2 years ago, I told Ronnie Moore that I'm like, hey, Ronnie, y'all should do this. And I told him, I'm like, go 50-50, have a draft, because I always said do it like the Powerball deal. And like,
yeah, that would have been actually 50-50.
I've got all my receipts. I've made like 10 videos for the past 2 or 3 years saying all this stuff. Not saying they did it because of me, but I will say, and I don't mean to call out Ronnie Moore. Ronnie Moore goes, we can't do 50-50. I'm like, yeah, y'all can. He's like, no, people won't understand it. Like it's too hard. I'm like, y'all are Bassmaster. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to. Like what do you mean people won't? People can understand it.
So John, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going back onto some of the guests that were biased. It is very funny how we got to this point, because our ABP, which is our Bass Union, and another word, 4 of the 5 group leaders plus the president is pretty biased. We had one representative that was, I would say, pro scope or non-biased, whatever it is. And last year we only voted, shows you how productive we are. We now have a Bass Union, and we've been voting on one thing a year. That's it. All 103 of us, we vote on one single thing. Last year, we tweaked the payouts. We didn't fix them by any means. And one person decided this year, hey, this is what we're voting on. We are voting on forward-facing sonar. The other 102 of you don't get a vote on what we're voting for. And here is the questions. Here is how they are worded. And here's your choices, A or B. And that's why we are where we are today, is because our Bass Union, we have very biased group leaders, and we got one set of questions to vote on for the entire year. And that's how we are here. Hey, that's why we're here.
Listen, John, I got in trouble for this yesterday. Okay?
Yeah, y'all be careful.
You're getting a lot of trouble things for today too.
And I'm gonna have to interject and say this. I think some of what you're saying is true, but it's not the group leader's fault that this is where we're at. This was the 103 anglers voting. I see where you're coming from in the initiation of the vote could have been biased, because 5 guys were like, oh yeah, that's what we're voting on. That's the number one priority. And meanwhile, we're like, how is that the number one priority? But 103 anglers did vote, and the conclusion was what everyone wanted. Like the 103 anglers spoke, and that was what was brought to Bass. So I see what you're getting at, but like it's not like Lee Livesey's fault or Menendez's fault or any of those guys' fault per se. But the way that this was handled and initiated, it was really rushed. And in the beginning, when everyone's like, yeah, like this is the group we should form. This is the group we should form. I think it's really good. And everyone was like, yeah. And everyone was like, we'll talk about payouts and helping the anglers as a whole. And then the first thing we vote on is only helping around half of the anglers. So that's where I think the discomfort and like us being a little bit upset comes from. I think that's where it comes from. It was almost like we were scammed into this group that was supposed to help the anglers, to benefit the anglers. Anglers plural, every angler. And then we get hyper focused on forward-facing sonar and accomplish not much in the year.
I want to ask I want to ask somebody. Hopefully, he'll talk a lot about this. Andrew, you were a part. What?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
You were a part of that. You were part of the angler board at FLW.
Yes.
Can you talk about this? I'm sure you can. It's not like you're gonna. Okay.
No, I mean.
Well, I mean, because like this board was brought about. Well, Andrew, because like looking back, and I could be wrong, but I remember when y'all did all this stuff, I didn't really hear a bunch of complaints about how y'all did it. Correct? Like, what did y'all do? How did y'all do it? Because I thought y'all tried to do as good a job as y'all can, and I didn't hear too many anglers upset about it.
Well, see, so basically what FLW had been doing for a long time is they had an angler board, but it was hand selected by them, and it was their 4, 5, 6 top guys. Whether it be Clark Winlet, whoever. I'm not going to.
And I'll say this: if y'all aren't around for FLW to know, like when he's saying they're top guys, these aren't guys that they like. Bass might have their top guys, but they're not paying their entry fees. These were guys that like team deals, entry fees. Like maybe no one else. I didn't know about it till I was a little bit like in there. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, whoa. So this guy. When you find out some guy, like, and y'all will agree to this, some guys like making decisions and telling you why we should do this, and then you find out that FLW's paying you. Like, dude, I don't care what you have to say. This is you're gonna go with you don't care about me.
No,
that's
we'll
throw that out there.
Well, see, and that's kind of where we were at, and so there was a bunch of basically what ended up like sparking the whole thing is they raised entry fees to a certain level and then just cut payouts, like dramatically cut payouts to the point where we all noticed like it was really bad. And I kind of started this petition thing. It wasn't something that was sent out to the public. It was literally just to the tournament anglers. And it was like, hey, guys, like this is what's actually going on. This is how much we're losing, investing, how much we're losing in the payout. We need to like talk to them about this. And we did this whole thing. And I think we had out of 150, 160 guys, we had like 120 sign it.
That's a lot, by the way. Like,
yeah, I mean, and that was just me and a couple other guys.
And it was public, by the way, too. It was public to like we all got to see. And I remember reading down that list, going, "Oh, okay, that guy, okay." And then I was like, "Why are these other guys not signing? Like, how is this not good?"
And I was approached by one of the board members, or not one of the board members, one of the angler board that FLW had selected, and he was really mad at me because he was part of the reason they had made that payout. He's like, "Oh, we're doing it good. We're doing it for the anglers." And I'm like, "Sorry, man. Like, it sucks. So whatever decision y'all made behind closed doors is terrible. Like, it's just what it is. You don't have to like me or agree with me, but this doesn't make sense what's going on." And so we actually formed our own angler board that met with Kathy Fennell, met with all the right people, and we just basically dismembered the original angler board that they put into place. And we ended up having a lot more say. They actually would bring stuff to us. We got a lot more accomplished. We got at that time they were charging like an insane amount of money for deposits up front. And we got that changed back. There was a lot of stuff that we did just to try to help anglers kind of survive the year, because I mean, it just was a really weird time in the industry. And then they sold out the next year.
That sounds familiar, except it didn't go that way for us.
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere, man.
No, like, I was saying that because I remembered it. Yeah. I remember, Andrew, you telling me, I'm like, well, how'd it go? He's like, well, and I always respect Kathy for that you're like, man, it was really good. Kathy sat down and listened, and it was like a good conversation. And I'm okay with them coming back saying, guys, we don't have the money to pay y'all anymore. Like there were certain things that they did, and we didn't leave FLW. It wasn't until the next year in MLF stuff, but those guys, man, I really talked good about FLW at that time, because man, they really were trying to
Well, ultimately, I don't think they were really trying to make it better for us. I think they were trying to make their books look better, so when they sold the MLF a year later, they could sell for more money because it showed them making more money. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is how much money that they can make and how much they could show when they sold the MLF. And that's ultimately all we dealt with. But at the end of the day, at least they tried to pay attention to what we were wanting. They did make some changes that the anglers were looking for. Was it the right or wrong? It's hard to say. But what I will say is that I do believe that the elites are in a very similar situation right now. They appointed these anglers to this angler board, last year, I think, what it was. And so.
Did they?
Oh, yeah. They didn't. That wasn't voted on by their.
Hey, did they?
I'm assuming. Right?
That wasn't voted on by y'all.
Now he's going to
we
pump
voted
gas
on
with
that.
a live phone.
Yeah,
Dude,
we
get the
voted
phone
on
away from the gas
the
pump,
group
Kyle.
leaders last year.
Oh, did y'all? I mean, the ones that Bash used,
Okay.
that promoted, they promoted. Y'all voted on them?
Yes, we
Touch the
voted on
truck
everybody.
at least for static. Oh my God, this makes me
If
nervous.
he blows up, it'll be worth it, though.
Guy, I have a question and I can't ask it. Dang it.
Look, so
don't drive off with the pump.
So I'm obviously not on the Elite Series. I have a little skin in the game. I fish the Opens. I fish basically every Open since 2019, 2020. I've talked to probably 15 different anglers on both sides of this over the past. I have like a notes thing on my phone or on my computer that's 3 pages long that talks about it. And it almost seems like there are some where their heart's in the right spot. They want to be a part of this. They want to go through the process. If it's what benefits them, it benefits them, but they see the overall growth of the sport. But I almost feel like there was a group that said, okay, we're on the board of anglers. This is what we want to get to. This is the outcome that we want to happen from this. Now, how do we get there?
Right.
Is that somewhat accurate? You're muted.
Who's muted?
Andrew's muted.
I think Andrew's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the
But
Matt,
that's kind of that's just kind of the vibe that I get. I mean, it could be wrong, could be bad on that, but like, I mean, dude, like I've talked to a lot of guys on both sides of the fence on this, just trying to figure out how to cover it, what to talk about, kind of how to understand it, how I think it'll trickle down to where then it does impact me. And it's hard to it's hard for people to totally understand, because when it comes down to it, it directly impacts the livelihood. John, you've got young kids. Kyle, Patrick's getting married. Like, it only impacts those 102 anglers directly financially like that. The rest of us, it's fun to talk about. It's fun. So there's a whole, like, if you're not one of those anglers, it's hard to understand like how important it is. So you've got people that are saying, oh, you're complaining, you're bitching, you're like, that is your livelihood for those anglers. So there's a lot more at stake. So of course they're going to be more opinionated. Of course they're going to talk more about it. Of course there's going to be more that goes on behind the scenes about it. I think it's hard. It's easy to say, oh, you've got this technique for this and this technique for that. Get over it, quit crying and fish about it. But I think there's a lot. I mean, when you get in the weeds, there's a lot that is going to be determined about careers and cuts and classics and sponsorships and qualifications and legacy and how you on this sport on this. And you just want it to be as fair as possible, to make sure that even if it's not in your favor, you understand why it wasn't in your favor, and that you can deal with the cards that are dealt. You just want it fair and equitable across the board.
Well, I'll say something, Matt, too. I'm from the South, right? We don't really have unions, right? And so, but unions, from my small understanding of them, right? You got a group of people all working that are all under the same conditions and probably all are getting paid about this. You know, like you're all in the same boat. The elites are not the same boat. So you have some guy with a family, you know, that's making a certain amount of dollars a year. So he's looking at payouts, this, that, and whatever. Yeah. And then you got other guys out there that are like, they ain't got, like, their money situation is totally different. And it don't matter if they make $0 next year or whatever. They just want to keep fishing for the rest of their lives. They're making millions, and they're on the vote too. And it always pissed me off, because I'm like, that guy is not helping us one bit. He doesn't care. It's just a different outlook. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you get those two guys trying to agree on the same thing, they will never agree. And so it's not that, like I said, union guys are all like, we're all down here doing the same thing, we're all trying to increase this. And it's just me and Kyle talk about it all the time about, if they really wanted to get better, there's guys out there trying to win blue trophies, and other guys actually trying to like be in the sport and like entertain catch fish, give knowledge, talk a lot, do all these things that, in my opinion, and Kyle agrees, enrich the sport. Like you can really you can make it better. Because no offense, Matt, you did the same thing. If you were just out there being boring all the time, no one would watch your show. If you just went on these things about coin flips all the time, right? So so my point is that like you got a lot of different people's opinions, and man, they're not all. No one's always.
They're not all equal. They're coming from different. They're coming from different points of view. Like I might make $20,000 a year in sponsorships and not even be able to pay my mortgage. And Gerald Swindles might make $2 million a year, and he's like, "Well, I just want to keep fishing." And I'm like, "I want to provide for my family."
I was always on that side.
And then on the flip side,
it's
on the flip side. What?
They just know how.
If we were all 103 of us were making a comfortable salary, you would not see any of this pop up.
Yeah.
Whatever the rules were, you wouldn't see anyone complaining. You would just see everybody out fishing with a smile on their face every day, whether they caught 112-incher or weighed in 25 pounds. That's just,
John, to your point, like I've always said, like my entire goal of, and I don't know it's my goal, I'm not good at this stuff, but like I've always fought for the fact of, and I've never fished an elite tournament in my life. I've still wanted y'all. I want the last place guy in y'all's event, which has zero effect on me whatsoever. That's always what I've wanted to see. I want to see it sometime in my lifetime where the guy in last place gets a $5,000 check and he didn't pay to get in that event. I've always wanted it because then that is the only time I will ever say we're a professional sport. And until then, I don't ever think we really are. Like we are, and I don't really care what you want to call it. But I think, and that's why you see you're going to see like the bottom 10 guys complain because they know they might be kicked out of making $5,000 a tournament or $10,000, right? And that would suck. But that's why golfers and all these things, I mean, they're just out there like, yeah, do the rules, whatever. I'm gonna keep doing this. I say that. I mean, I guess NFL guys and NBA guys are over there 132 million over 126, but still,
the big problem is when you have organizations like this that have these unions, these angler unions. Obviously, I was a part of one and kind of led one. The problem is everybody has personal goals and they have personal things that they want. And then there's, like you're saying, there's guys that have absolutely no care in the world and they don't give a crap what you're going through, what the tournament does. They just want to go out there and win some money and that's it because they have money. Now, the problem is if you ever want to see anything change for the positive or the better, a union is exactly that, where everybody comes together with a common goal. Whether or not you have a bunch of other goals, that's fine. But everybody has to have a common goal to make it successful. And that's what's made unions successful throughout the years in every industry that they are a part of. If people wanted to if the anglers actually wanted to see bass change something, then when the first tournament rolls out, then just don't launch your boat. I promise you, bass would change what they're doing immediately.
But they were, you know how many threats? You remember the threats that people? You remember that? But we were going. Yeah, we could pick the guys. We could pick the guys that would never do that, and it was so easy to pick them. And,
if anything, that situation showed me the backbone or the lack of balls of anglers when it came to hard decisions. Because when it's an easy decision, anybody can make it. But when it's hard, they can't.
Yeah, but you're forgetting the fact that we're talking about forward-facing sonar here, not necessarily payouts. Like if it was forward-facing sonar discussion, dude, that would never work, ever. There'd be like 40 guys that wouldn't launch.
The problem is even with payouts, it doesn't work, Kyle. It doesn't matter what it doesn't work. The fact is that it's at least a third of that field in every field that you're talking about has no backbone.
And you will see
or they just don't care enough about money because they have plenty of it.
Nah, dude, it affects them some way. No, a lot of it's ego, a lot of it's a lot of things. I'm telling you right now, it's the no backbone, and they like when everything's, dude, it's like ethics, it's like integrity. It's all that stuff, dude. You will see guys, you will see guys that have no money, zero, that are fighting for money and go, if I don't show up to this event, I'm going to lose so much. And then a guy over there that has everything, not do it. And you're just like, you just find out a lot about people, and it's like, man, that guy's gonna stand. Like, it's with the sport of fishing. You see it like,
see
it's why people it's why people cheat.
Yeah,
it's why people cheat.
Yep.
People think people cheat for the money. It's rarely about the money. It's about the integrity and the ego and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just who they are.
Bob's comment here, I do want to say, and we don't always address the comments because some of them are just crazy. There'll be another 100 guys waiting in line to fish. This is exactly the problem. If you do it in advance, if you know who it is, who used to tell us that exact same thing? Tell me.
There'll be another, I don't know. There's a bunch.
One term director we've had. Who was it? Bill Taylor.
There's 100 guys waiting in line to fish.
Bill Taylor.
Yeah.
Always told us, oh, well, there's just 100 guys in line to fish that if you leave. And that's their mentality. But I'm telling you right now, with the contracts that Bassmaster has signed for Fox Sports and all this live stuff, if the anglers came together, I don't care what decision it is, you could say Ford faces sonar. If the anglers came together and said, hey, we're not launching our boat today, I promise you, whatever decision you wanted to make was going to get made right there before the boats got launched. Period.
I know y'all are thinking about this, but the problem is like, I'm just telling you, and if you did that, I'm not telling y'all to do this. We're going to get in trouble. But like, they did, like Andrew and they did this, and it was like, you saw, dude, it was a piece of paper. All you had, everything on that 40, 50 guys not sign something, and you're like, and I was sitting there, like, I remember calling Russell up, and I'm like, hey, we're signing this, right? And we were with Costa, and like, this was my second year or first year on tour. And I'm like, well, that didn't last long. And I signed it, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, there's a bunch of guys that didn't sign it.
And it was all the guys that you would think would want that kind of growth. But they didn't have any irons in the fire. They didn't care because they're the ones that were getting paid. They were the ones that blanks about anybody else other than their team deal. Period.
And I'll be honest with y'all. You want to know why I lost a lot of respect for some of them? Because then they sat up there in meetings and would talk and like say things. And I'm sitting here looking at them going, this is the easiest conversation in the world for you. I laughed at all those guys at BPT when they tried to tell us when they all got chosen to be a BPT, and we're sitting there at this tournament and telling us all these things that I'm sitting here going, this is the worst. And people bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I'm sitting there going, this must be the easiest speech in the world. I mean, how easy is it to sit there and be where you have no entry fees, about to get paid, and you're here, and you were just with us like 2 days ago, and now you're saying, but just hold on, like, you have your chance. You have a chance to get here, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, a good chance. 3 years from now, after I paid $150,000 worth of entry fees, I just lost all respect for some of those guys. I've never told any of them that. I don't speak to some of them. They probably wonder why, because I knew them, and I'm like, dude, you should have just been quiet. You should have just been like thankful for what you got and like sat there, but don't try to convince me of a bad deal.
The company, your company side, like, listen, guys, we really think you should give $50,000 a year to these people. I think it's a really good idea. You're like, what?
Dude, and most of the people stayed and said, oh, okay. And I was just like, I'm not the smartest guy. I don't think
There's actually a comment on here. I'm going to throw it up. I know we have 2 Elite Series guys on here. I've been. You can't let the inmates from the asylum MLF prove that. Wrong. No, wrong. That's absolutely wrong. And the reason it is wrong is because MLF is kicking y'all's ass right now. In my opinion, they were the bad. They were the bad.
Here we go.
I agree with this. Hold on. I agree with this guy to a certain extent. There are certain things that because every inmate, like I said, every single inmate wants a different outcome. So for certain things, he agrees.
Okay, but you're asking 1 or 2 people to make a decision. I'm saying as a collective, I feel like y'all would make good enough decisions.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Are you under the assumption that more than 50% of the people in the Elite Series are like really intelligent or something? Is that what you're under the assumption? Like, dude, there
I
are
look
people
at them as paying
Elite
customers. Period.
It's not gonna happen.
You're never going to agree on everything.
Andrew,
Kyle.
I might agree with Kyle on like right now, because I've always said this too with tournament fishing. No, I would agree with Kyle. I've always said this: if I was going to run a thing, I would never have 100 guys, fishermen in the country. That's it. We do away with all the trails, 1 trail, 100 guys. It's the only way to do it, in my opinion. And there's no debate.
Hey.
I've always said that I always wanted less people on the professional side. And I would think that every professional fisherman would want less people. The less people there, if you're good enough and you've made it, my always deal was, good, you made it. Like, that's the whole point. You spent your whole life trying to make it, and once you're there, it's lucrative. If there's only 50 guys on the elites, those 50 guys more, you're going to be more coverage, more everything's going to go your way. So like MLF doing cutting, none of the anglers, most anglers aren't for that. But in reality, and I don't know who made that decision, but if I was running it, I would always make that. And if I was a fisherman, yeah, I might get cut. But dude, that's what I signed up for in the sport. But dude, I always was like, man, but if I made it, because Kyle will say the same thing. I think John will too. When you make the elites, you didn't really make that much more. Like, not money-wise. Like, you think, oh, I made it, now I'm here. And it's like,
what the problem is that's what you think.
Kind of a glorified. You're like, yeah, you're sort of.
John, what do you think?
I mean, Todd, if you ask any of the current elite guys that fished in Happen, there was only like 72 guys, 75 guys. They all say that was the best, most peaceful year they have ever had. They paid down to 72nd, got $2,500. They still had Texas Bass. It was the highest paying year that all the anglers had with the fewest anglers, and everybody said it went smooth. So I do agree with Todd that we do have to go ahead.
No, I want to keep going. That was the year, the guys that left, the guys that stayed with Bass.
And then they invited some in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it was the guys that were at Bass that year. So I agree we do have too many people. And it is a glorified opens, especially for people in mine and Kyle's position. The people haven't been there for more than 5 years because you look at Joey Cifuentes, he finished top 10 points his first year, has not had a good 2 years, and now he's looking to get cut. I mean, you're still fighting every day just to stay alive. So, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There's not much else to say about that. I mean, it's a glorified open to a certain extent, at least until you hit that 5-year threshold or 10-year threshold when you get a couple of drop years. So, I mean, you're right on both cases.
And I was I hope, I don't mind saying this. So I was talking to Kyle yesterday, and I was bringing up the fact of if this is going to rub some people, and this is our sport, so I'm just explaining what our sport is. Our sport, and you just touched on this, John, is you have to, it's a longevity sport. It's not the NFL, and that brings us back to the glorified open, right? In the NFL, it's what, 40 years, right? That's the average. Well, in that 4 years, you can retire. If you're smart with your money, I don't care what anyone says. You give me $8 million at 23 years old, dude, I can figure out how to make it. I can figure out how to make $800,000 last, much less $8 million. You know, like save $1 and like not spend anything. If our way to make it in the sport was we were able to do it for a long period of time, and if you can do it for a long period of time, the longer you do it, the more money you can eventually make, regardless of sponsorships or whatever the connections you make within our sport. So it was always a kind of a cool thing that, like, I can keep doing this when I'm 50. I really can't do this anywhere else. It took you so much longer to get better at fishing. Like, there was no doubt about it. Like, you got better over time, hard in there. And I think I've heard some of y'all agree that I bet y'all would say between that 28 to 35 year mark is probably when you're in your prime for whatever weird reason. And then you can still hang on and do good, but like, there's eventually going to be a regression. But in that point of time, if you did good enough, you can make your career last, and you can build up a nice career. I said the only thing with live scope, and the thing with like pushing the young, not pushing the young anglers, but it's a definite, like, y'all would agree that live scope has made that progression quicker for younger guys. And then a 21-year-old can compete a lot easier with a 35 or 40-year-old. Because we even just talked about the fact of, like, you live on a lake, those locals are going to, like, anybody that's been to some of those lakes are going to have an advantage over someone that hasn't, right? Those young guys can now compete and make it playing. And everyone's like, well, that's great, right? Well, but once you get to the elites, a lot of times to make it that long, if your career, if more and more young guys keep getting in and are competitive, possibly because of live scope, that turnover rate, remember, Kyle, I told you, like, that turnover rate might not happen at 50 anymore. It might happen at 35, 30. And then all of a sudden you're cut and you look up and go, dude, my career didn't last long and I didn't have a lot of time to make that money. And I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just stating that's what could possibly happen. And so I always like the fact that I'm like, man, I got to fish for a long time to be able to make a living doing this. And you just never, I think, really think like hard about stuff like that. Of like, man, if that turnover rate gets a lot quicker and a lot younger, it's great for the young guys, but man, not if you're not there very long.
Is it great for the young? But isn't that how?
No, it's great for the young guys at the time, but no one at 21 is thinking about 50. No one at 21 is thinking about
your side of that is like,
it's hard.
And I agree. Flip side of that is, isn't that just a sports in general? Like, you get a 10-year career.
Yes. No, but every other sport you get paid when you're there.
That's true.
Like, you retire. That's my point. In 4 years of playing football, you can retire. Dude, you fish for 4 years?
You lose money. You lose money in the first 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So, statistically wise, Best on Tour in 2023 did a breakdown of the average age of the Elite Series rookies coming on the tour, and it was 33 in 2009. Lowest it dipped early was 30 in 2011. In 2013, it was 39. In 2018, it was 38. And then what you saw between 2020 and 2023, 2020, it was 36. 2021, it was 34. 2022, it was 32. And in 2023, it was 25. So that graph kind of supports it. I mean, the average age for basically the duration of the elite series of the rookies coming on was between 33 and 38. And then, the average age in 22 and 23 was in the 20s. So you're talking about almost a 12 to 15 year age gap.
What do you think after you think that it'll go younger this year? You think it'll be under 25?
It'll be very interesting to see. I mean, you look at it. I mean, it drastically. I mean, there is no denying the facts that with the introduction of forward facing, it has drastically dropped since 2020.
Here's the funny part: is that if you take one, and I don't know all the anglers, but I'm just thinking about last year and the year before. If you take one angler out of there, that number drops a lot. Like Cody Meyer probably made that way higher. They're not even old guys. They're not even old. I'm just saying, like, if you took those two guys out of it each year, it'd probably be a lot lower than that.
Yeah, and the last one I have data on is 23. I believe that was your class, John.
Well, theirs was 23.
John was one of the older guys in that class, weren't you?
I know.
I was the next oldest to be in. Yeah.
How old were you?
28. No, 29. I'm 29
That's
now.
wild that's old.
Like, I mean, historically, you look at the Opens, and it's, to me, it was a lot of guys who, before especially the college and the high school and the young, it seemed to me like, when I was covering this in 2000, started in 2007 and through it, like I would look at guys that'd be like small business owners who were in their 30s, who had gone through the college, who had fished the local stuff, who had fished the team stuff, who had gotten to a point in their career where they had wanted to do it, where they could go try it. You're talking 30, a lot of 40, 45-year-old guys. You could say, hey, I've got my company. It's being taken care of. I got people I can trust. I'm not putting my financial or my family in jeopardy, and I'm going to go see what happens in the Opens. And we see some of these guys make it. We see some of these guys do it. Like that shift between 2009 and 2020, I think, is a testament to Bass, to MLF, to Wade Middleton. I mean, John, you've lived up and you've grown through it. It's a development of the sport to where you don't have anglers that are, hey, let's fish the team stuff, and then let's do it. Like, you're a prime example of that. Like, you spent the time on the water, you were groomed, this is what you have done, and there's more and more in your case. That did not exist from 2009 to 2020. Like, that didn't exist to where you A, had the talent, B, had the skill, had fished all over, had the backing. You had sponsorship coming into the Opens. A lot of these guys didn't. They would qualify for the Elite Series and call Mark Jeffries and be like, hey man, I know you're like in the industry, like, how do I get sponsors? Like, what do I do? I just made the Elite Series. That is a complete shift, a total shift. So yes, it coincides with the forward-facing sonar and that, but I think you would have seen that shift, just not as drastic from 2018, 19, 20, 21 on, because of the shift in how seriously the younger anglers are taking it.
I'll agree with that, and I've seen it, the forward-facing sonar deal. I mean, we all, for my case, I feel like I'm in that age gap to where I grew my college career, and then halfway through my college career, at one point, the first 3 tournaments of the year were won on forward-facing sonar. My mind said, that's how I got to win a tournament. That's how I'm going to fish. So since the middle of my college career until now, that is how my brain has worked around that. And I don't know, even if now, if we take forward facing away or limit it, I don't know if we're going to see that age gap ever go back to people qualifying. I think that guys make it, but I still think every single year, like Todd and Matt, like y'all are saying, it's going to be younger and younger guys going forward. And I think even we'll still see that young age, even if we don't have it. So
maybe, but not for the same reason. And the only thing I'll say is that, like, I look at it from, I don't look at this from y'all's level. I look at it from like, and then like the Toyotas and things that I do. When I look at those, when I look at who's fishing now, it is just younger guys. Now, is that because all of a sudden younger guys wanted to get in fishing, or is that because younger guys? I don't think it was younger guys, because listen, everyone, I'll go do what Matt does, and I'll go look up and be like, you never caught them 3 years ago, and now you do. Raining them, you know, and I'm like, oh, you were fishing 3 years ago when it wasn't around, and you didn't catch nothing. And so I see all that on the Toyota level. It's like I fished too many around Rayburn, and it's like no one in the cut is. There's like two of us in the cut over 30 years, right, of age. So you see that going on, and yeah, it might be the case, but we might look up and all those other guys like, right? So like, you know, just like the younger guys might not like losing and stopped, you know, signing up for a Toyota. I don't know if that might be the case, that you just look up and go, well, yeah, it's all younger because that's the only ones getting in these events, which still could be. So it's like, well, that's your playing field anyways, is just younger in general. It's interesting if that's the way it's going to play out, because I don't know what we're starting at the top, and then we're going to see the bottom fill it in. So they change any of this just to follow suit like y'all did, some sort of way, and then see how that, because like y'all still have to qualify in the Opens and the Toyotas, you don't. So you're gonna see how people actually feel about if they make a decision, and like who actually signs up. Right? I mean, it might take a year or two, but you might see that.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do now, because evidently StreamYard is glitching pretty bad, I'm going to do final takes, forward-facing sonar, no forward-facing sonar. Let's hear your final thoughts. John, I'll let you go ahead and lead us off. You're the only elite angler in the chat. So let's hear your thoughts. Where are you at? Are you content with it? Would you like to see something change for next year? What's your gut tell you about this particular situation? Would you have changed the flip? Would you have made it an AI generated thing? Like,
no, I think the flip was probably as fair as it can get, besides what Matt brought up about there being a slight better chance that whatever's on top gets landed on 1% more out of 300-something thousand flips. But no, I think the flip was very I like that it was out there, everybody could see it, and the way the outcome is, it's pretty fair. I mean, there's a few events where it's really go play, and there's a few events where it should have, I would have done maybe one or two tournaments different, but it could have gone a lot worse where forward-facing sonar would not play at all. I think it's going to play just the right amount to get a grip on viewership, how people finish, and all, you know, on down the line. So I have no complaints on how they did it and the way the schedule turned
out. What about you, Pendrak? Where are you at?
I was shocked at how much I enjoyed watching it. I thought, maybe a little bit more diverse as far as the anglers that came on and talked about it. I also don't know who Bass reached out to, who was available, who wasn't available for that. It generated like a must-watch TV. In my instance, I make the majority of my income covering the professional bass fishing tours and talking about it, and I need content generation, and this generated a lot of content. There will be a lot of shows built around it. Todd's going to be doing videos on it. You'll be doing videos on it. Anglers will be doing videos on it. You can go around and around as to why, how it got there, why it's there, what it is. I think part of the reason why that generates such strong feelings is because there is no right answer on it, and people on both sides of the fence feel justified for it. Like I said, I don't think I think it could have gone a lot worse. I enjoyed it. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it. It was cool to watch. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there watching going, oh my God, like, here we go. Like, he's about to flip it. Like, I could see it become an annual thing. and it seemed a lot more valid when you watched it than when you heard about what they were going to do. So while you can criticize, justify, whatever, entertainment, engaging, discussion, I give Bassmaster an A on it, and I'm not on the Elite Series, so what lakes were chosen and doesn't impact me.
Right. What about Todd? What's your final thoughts on this?
Would have changed is like, and this is, we're trying to predict what it might look like. Like, I got to fish the Arkansas River this year too, and in a Toyota event, and if they do something with it, I instantly like, no one's going to care about forward-facing sonar at a river. I think at some point in time, like y'all said, and they admitted it, they tried to pick a schedule that limited its use before doing this. I wish they hadn't have done that. It wasn't their fault. It's no one's fault. But I wish they had just picked like really phenomenal lakes like they used to, and then did it there. So, right, I mean, the Arkansas River isn't really awesome. It sucks, right? Yeah. Because remember when they used to go to like
John Garrett,
like Gunnersville. Well, I'm talking about like fish. Like, there's going to be people out there going like this forward-facing sonar. Like someone commented in one of my videos, like no one's going to catch a 10-pounder again. I'm like, come on, give me a break.
And you're like, God, he caught them all.
Yeah, it's like if you when they used to go to like Falcon and Amstead when those were going good, and like they picked like the best lakes in the country with giant, like you can catch a giant bag. It seemed like they were, you know, there were certain lakes that you're going to pick that you're like, hey, this is going to limit it for these guys without doing it. I just think it would have been, those lakes are still hard to do without it, but I think it would have been a lot better if in the future they go to like just pick the best lakes and then put that in there, because I don't care about most of those. I think Gunnersville's an interesting one. Dark, that was a wasted. It doesn't really matter. But to me, the most interesting one, I think Champlain and Gunnersville are the two most interesting ones, because those are lakes you can win 100% with forward-facing sonar, like really good. But back in the day, those were like phenomenal lakes without it. So I'm interested. I wanted to see more of those lakes in it. It's not their fault, but maybe if they do this next year, don't try to make it that way. Just pick freaking awesome lakes.
Right. Cal Patrick, final thoughts.
Yeah. Before I gotta go, sorry, my computer died
at the hospital.
I'm headed out, but I think my final thoughts were, I mean, Panger said it. I mean, it's hard because I'm looking at it from this directly affects me, and I can appreciate that from just a spectator's point of view. Watching that, it had to have been kind of cool. It keeps you. I mean, I've said it 10 times. I don't like their reason behind doing it, but you know, I think that could be fixed through the schedule. Like, I think if to Todd's point, if the schedule had been made to where, like, remember our first year on the Elites, I think it was like Toledo Bend we started it, and then it was like 4. If that we had that schedule, and then we had, you know, the 50-50, I think I would be a lot more receptive to it.
Yeah.
I think because this kind of makes it.
Toledo, Lake Fork, Harris Chain, St. John's, Murray, Wheeler, Smith, Champlain, St. Louis.
Yeah, that's
like that schedule.
Yeah.
If it was 50-50, I'd be like, you know what, cool. Like that's gonna be a really cool, a cool schedule.
Yeah, it does kind of suck that they, like I said, that they doesn't suck. I understand, like, it's not any fault of their own. They were trying to do this, and I think no matter what, they realize they're like they can't change it. You know, like they can't limit it.
Yeah.
And that's just, like I said, that's just how good y'all are with it. You know, or maybe not y'all, but like just someone's gonna figure it out, and then it's gonna cause like
much a part of the game it has become.
Yes.
That's I think the best way to word that, Todd.
I'll throw something
All
Very
right. Hey,
quick and
I gotta go,
Yeah.
guys.
So do
I
I.
gotta go, guys.
See you,
So
bud.
I'll see you
I
guys.
still
later.
get to do mine. Jeez. But go ahead,
Sorry,
John.
bud. Go ahead.
No, John.
No, I just got one fishing thought instead of this is that I'm very curious to see if someone can go to Champlain. I know some will, but I'm curious to see if we go to Champlain and we're still able to catch them. I'm gonna say old school smallmouth fishing by throwing a drop shot on a rock column, or if forward facing sonar has already made those fish so smart that we'll have to go to Champlain and catch them skipping docks and flipping grass. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
You will.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
You will.
Well, so as somebody that fished a trail that doesn't allow it, I was really concerned about that as well. But what I've learned is that concern really didn't matter, because at the end of the day, yes, fish always choke to, and then the next 10 years you go to it and there's never a bass on it. I know Todd and I have talked about it a lot on Rivalry, is there's places that we used to catch bass on that were amazing that you can never catch them on anymore, and that was all pre-forward facing sonar anyway. But I think lakes just change and they adapt and things just adjust. And the fish have definitely adjusted because of the forward facing sonar. It's changed the way they act. But I also think that when you turn it off and they don't have that sound and they don't anticipate getting cast at and it's not hitting them in the face, I think it's also going to change the way things look.
Here's the thing, John, and I get like this too, that what forward facing, like you'll admit to this too, John, you understand this. Forward facing sonar is not how we used to fish, right? So there's a little bit of carryover, but I had to get that out of my head. That like I had to view it a whole different way. I had to go look for fish a different way. I had to fish from a different way. Everything was different, and so everything in my past, I almost had to like wipe. It actually set me back. That have not figured that out. They can't get away from their past, and it's hurting them in the future. And I say the young guys that have none of that in their past are the most open-minded when it comes to scoping, that they don't look at what, like they're not looking at this point or this, they're just like, however they want to look at it, that's how they do it. Not saying open water stuff, just in general. And then I went out there to Raven the other day, and I was doing other stuff. I was making lanes and things, and I like dead August. I pick up a top water middle of the day, and I catch like a 3 and a 4. And I did some other. I never scoped anything, and I caught me like 5. And then I did go scope for like the last 45 minutes and caught like 20 pounds, right? But I still was able to go catch these other fish that I would never fish for because they would never win an event anymore. But that's how I used to do it. I think what's going to happen is like you're going to get some guys that only have, like John, I think you're going to be fine. You're going to get these guys that don't know how to go do this way to go catch a 2-pounder down the bank at Champlain, that you're like, what are you doing? You're like, well, I don't know how to catch those out there. I'm going to come over here and do this, and I'm going to catch me 16 pounds. I'm going to be in the top, 20, where 16 pounds would be, 90th place. I think that's what's going to happen. And it's not going to diminish from like, everyone's like, oh, we want to see these 20-pound bags. Not really. When everyone's catching 20 doing the same thing, but if I'm watching John Garrett, my entire reason I wanted you to have you on the podcast was some things I saw you do, and I couldn't wait to talk to you about it. And we're going to do this. Maybe it's next week, right? Because I haven't ever done this with anyone. I really wanted to pick your brain on some stuff, because that's what I found interesting. When I see the same guys out there throwing a minnow or drop shotting, I didn't care if forward-facing sonar or not. When I see everyone doing the same thing, I don't care. But when I see some guy going, well, why did he do that? Why did he fish there? Oh, you know what? He spent 2 days not catching anything and figured out something else, and then it turned into something. That's what I want to see. And so I think guys like you that can fall back on that, you're going to be like, I can't go do what I used to do. I just have to go I have to go just fish again, and I'll figure it out. I think that's what's going to happen with a couple of y'all. Like a lot of y'all are going to do that, and y'all are going to be fine. The weights won't be as big, but you'll come into the weigh-in and go, "Oh shoot, I did pretty good today."
Right.
You know.
Well, my final thoughts on this situation. I mean, the only thing I would have honestly, I mean, I have a couple of things I would have changed. I would have probably changed the lakes, just like what you're talking about, Todd. I mean, but once again, you're asking somebody to make a decision. I say that, man, like they knew what lakes they were going to. They knew this decision was coming. I mean, this is something that they talked about and has been. Oh, yeah. This has been talked about for the last 2 months. 100%. Yeah, this vote happened a while back.
They made the schedule months ago.
I know, but what I'm saying is they could have easily gone and made a change on a lake or a river or something like that, and sub some lakes or better places in to actually offset this a little bit. I mean, I think they could have, because they knew they were going to do something, whether they did anything or they were going to do something, no questions asked. And I do think they could have done that. The other thing I would have done, and honestly, John would probably hate my guts if I recommended this, and so would a handful of other guys. I would have loved for the first day of the tournament, they rolled out to the dock and they did the coin flip on the dang dock and said, "Here we go, guys." And 30 minutes before takeoff, and said, "Here we go. This is what you got." Let them practice with it. Let them do whatever they want to. And 30 minutes before the tournament, here you go. This is what you got. No scope or scope. Flip that coin, and I swear you'd see mass chaos. And guys would be turning units off and throwing new rods on the deck. And, dude, it would add an element to TV. It would add an element to the sport that would truly make guys go out there, scope some, and practice fishing some, and really roll the dice. And maybe they do it every day. Maybe it's one of those things where you never know what's going to happen until you roll up to the boat ramp and you're like, "Here we go. We're going flipping grass today instead of scoping." I think it would have been a lot more fun. I hate now. I truly do hate that everybody has time to prepare for the event based off of that decision. Now they can get in. Well, they can't get info, but they now know how to research all the way up until that particular lake, that particular time. I really just wish they'd have thrown it on them at the last second. I would have loved it. I'm telling you right now, if I was fishing the elites, I would have loved to have known right before the tournament, because I think it levels the playing field significantly. And I mean, it's no questions asked, because nobody knows how to practice. They just have to adapt to the situation. I just love it. I think it would make so much more fun. And
John's like, no way.
Cool.
I think if I was not fishing the tournament, I would want that.
Definitely.
I would hate it.
Yeah, I think it would be very entertaining. But I feel like I would have no idea what to do there.
Yeah, and I'm a big guy on practice. I say all that because we have these stupid team tournaments that keep on freaking limiting us in practice. And I'm like, hey, that's part of fishing, is fishing the event. So I got one question for both of y'all. So you're not allowed to use it, right? In practice, you can use it on the ones you can, and then other times you can, if it's a no forward facing, you can't even practice. But I assume that's the three practice days. I don't know y'all's rule. How early can you go to these lakes before? What's your cutoff for
around a month? You can go to a lake.
And everything. There is no off limits of what. So you can forward facing sonar the whole time there.
Yeah, correct. As long as it's pre-practice, which is the 28 day.
Have y'all ever? So what? John had a question about this, and I'm asking y'all. Have y'all ever been around some place, especially like on suspended fish. And I'm not saying suspended fish that are like, I'm thinking about this one lake in particular that it feels on live scope like every time you turn, like I can sit in one spot and see them everywhere, 100 feet out, right? And I'm like, man, what if I turned it off for a second? Could I catch these same fish suspended? Have y'all tried that?
I've had it.
No?
No.
Well, I did because I've always been worried about the same situation of going, there's 90% of the fish are out here. What would I do? Could I catch them? None of them are on bottom. I got this one lake, and I'm like, I've tried it for like 10 or 15 casts. And dude, it is the weirdest feeling going. And I'll throw it out there, and I'm like, this imaginary bait through 30 foot of water. And I'm just going, and I'm like, I can't do it very long. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Now you know how cold feel.
And you can catch like 50. But you cannot hardly catch one without doing it. It's wild.
See, but now that's how co-anglers feel on the back of the boat. That's why they're busy, because they're just casting, and it's like, where am I even casting? What am I casting at? Like, what in the heck is going on?
Dude, I'm amazed when co-anglers will catch 4 or 5 behind the scoper out there, just out there in 50. And I'm like, dude, the mental side of that for them guys to do that is like, because I'd be out there taking a nap. I'm like, yeah, I'll never catch a fish.
See, I think I would thrive in that situation. That fits me, because I truly believe, I've always thought that was such a terrible argument. Like, I know what lake you're talking about. I'm not going to talk about it. But there's so many out there suspended. I believe, and maybe we should go do it. No, we need to go do it. We need to go do it. I'll get in the back of your boat. I will not look. No, but I just want to see if I throw a little swim bait around, and if I count it down, if I really pay attention, how many bass you can catch.
You can catch
while doing it.
But go to a lake, go to Rayburn at times when you're going around Rayburn and you're on your trolling motor for like 10 minutes before you make a cast.
Yeah, but that's different. You're talking about when you see multiple.
No, that's most lakes. You're not casting constantly. Those guys that are catching fish that way, I'm like, dude, I might not make a cast for 5 minutes. I don't know how those guys are like ever going to catch one. Because, you know, you're looking around going, hey, dude, you ain't even, like, in the back of your mind, like, you ain't even thrown at one. You can't tell them that. But, like, I have zero problem with those co-anglers getting mad about any of that stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I agree with all of them. It sucks. I would never fish that way. I would never fish as a co-angler. I think co-angling sucks anyways. That really sucks. I don't blame any of them for that.
John, final thoughts? Any final thoughts?
I don't guess.
He didn't get fined.
Hey, I just don't want you to get fined.
We don't know about Kyle.
Kyle might get fined.
Kyle's thoughts are never final. They just keep going constantly. Constant thoughts. I don't know how he sleeps.
Nobody does.
John, how many we all do this. I don't think people realize that. Like, so you got your group of guys on the elites, right? You got them?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been getting blown up this whole time being on here?
As in just like people texting me that only elites? No, not really.
No, that's not bad.
Our group, our AVP group, our group 5 of young guys, got some stuff on there. But no, not really.
That's
good. There's going to be a lot of. I don't know how the elites like. Some of y'all I talk to that I know, like some of y'all don't really talk with a lot of people. Are you kind of like that? Do you kind of like you have just a little bit of group and that's who you talk to, or?
I mean, I definitely talk to, I'm gonna say 7 to 10 guys, way more than the other 90, but I talk to the majority of people. And I think that I guess all the guys I hang out with in the younger class, exception for Kyle. So we're not just ringing everybody the whole time and being publicly open about everything. So, no, I mean, we talk a good bit. But
and I do think that's part of the problem, honestly. You kind of have to have somebody that's willing to, and not like a Kyle. I love Kyle.
No, Kyle's great, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with what Kyle says. It's okay.
No, I know, but he's a loose cannon.
Oh,
as a leader, you got to have somebody that can organize thoughts. No doubt.
Is it bad that I understand?
You have to have an organizer.
I understand all of Kyle's thoughts. Is that bad?
It's not about that. It's about if you want to ever have a voice from their side, like for the guy, you got to have somebody that is a voice that can bring it to a knowledgeable conclusion for the people who are non-forward-facing sonar. Now, granted, you're always going to have people who are going to be against it. They don't care if their mom started doing it and their dad started doing it. They just hate it, hate their life, whatever. And the same thing goes for some scopers that they cannot see the other side of the aisle whatsoever either. I think there's definitely some problems there as well. But I really believe on the scoper side of things, just like John's talking about, is there's not very many guys that can professionally step up and know both sides of the aisle and understand both sides of the aisle. You have to have that understanding as far as the understanding of how the industry works, understanding how Bassmaster works, and having that voice. They have veteran voices over there, and that makes a huge difference. And ultimately, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right, and the majority of, I guess I'm gonna say, the people that have, or I'm gonna say 5 years and newer, rookies to 5-year-old, veterans of the sport, they're not going to speak against what Swindle or Hackney or Drew Benton. Like, when they voice their opinion and we're standing around and we don't agree with it, what right do we? Or Hackney's like, no, dude, that's not the way to look at it. Because whether most of the time they are right, but whether they're right or wrong, the younger guys just aren't going to step on someone's toes that they've looked up to their entire life. And I think that's a big part of it too. It's us saying, man, we're thankful to be here. We're not going to complain that much. We're going to fish, and we're not going to step on anybody's toes. And that's a big reason why you're seeing this limit, because some of the outspoken are the ones that are against it, and a lot of the soft-spoken are the ones that are for it. So that's another reason.
And see, I think about some of this too, and just because, and we're all three Strike King guys, right? All was Strike King, and I've always been that way. Like, I always look at everything as a whole, and for me as a whole, like, when we get into this stuff and it's all about baits and things like that, I instantly know, like, on the Strike King side, like, I think John, like, there's no doubt that there are certain baits that are going to get with forward-facing sonar that only get used, and now you're going to have a chance to, like, do this. And so, like, if you're well-rounded, we've picked you on numerous open pros pick them, and we've always said, "Oh, John's that guy that can catch him either way." And so like, that's a plus, and so that's why I have no problem. I'm like, and then guys have made, Kevin Van Dam has made an entire career out of, like, there's some guys that are really good at flipping and doing this, and then you got Kevin going, well, I catch them freaking, jerking, throwing a crankbait, throwing a spinnerbait, and then you see how he has expanded his entire empire by doing that, like, bait-wise with Strike King, and then that's progressed with everything he's done. It's just doing that. I look at all that stuff, like, all that comes into play when I think about this stuff. And so, like, even with you, I'm like, man, it's a way to, like, grasp a hold of even Strike King, going, man, I might smoke him on different baits next year, and that's going to, like, help propel everything. I mean, I'm always looking at that. That's the kind of stuff I look at where some young guy might just be like, he's just worried about trying to catch a bass and do good in an event. I'm always those really. I told Kyle that too, man. There's a couple guys in the sport that were just understood it all, from the fish catching side, from like Kevin Van Dam, like those guys that like did everything and made big names, and you know, it's there's I look at all that and say, like, how does this help me?
Well, guys, I got to jump off here. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Great, go check him out. He's gonna have a big year. I don't care how mad he is. I think he's gonna have a good time this year. And Todd, as always, thank you. And if y'all need anything, holler at me. And until next time, we'll see you on the next one.
See y'all.